We are live. A little bit of a pause there. Gonna say Rogers sucks. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, so been a little quiet since I came back from Rock Hill at the ACL World Championships. I did two videos actually. The 500 subscriber contest, announcing it, and the 500 subscriber winner, John George, winner of the Hustler bags, and he should be getting his hoodie this week. So now, for some of you, I'm not sure, I've got at least one viewer right now. Some of you watching on Facebook, others will be watching on YouTube. I've now got off the wallet and going both platforms, same time live. Something new. So we'll be doing that there. So yeah, so any questions you have, just kind of put them in the chat, either one, the Facebook or the YouTube, that should come up. And talk about anything. If I know the answer, I will give the answer. If I don't know the answer, then I'll just say I don't know, because that's just the easiest thing for me. A lot of stuff has been happening here, even though I haven't been putting shows out. I know some people know, some people don't, but no longer with ACL Canada, just so people know. Kind of a mutual thing with that there. I got that little meeting with Trey afterwards, and because I was going in to help with the social media stuff, I was kind of out of my realm, I guess you'll say, because I don't know if you look at any of my Instagram, my TikTok, all the other stuff. Geez, Keaton hitting with the big one right off the bat. I will let you know on that in a little bit. So yeah, social media stuff. If you look at my Instagram, you look at my TikTok, you look at my Twitter, any of my even Facebook posts that you see, they are few and very, very far between most of the time. So social media stuff, a little out of my realm. For those, I've had a couple of people say, "Oh, well, we're not going to do ACL stuff anymore." Don't stop doing that. Yes, Derek, you have to find another question, because actually Derek asked that question about like 8 hours ago, Derek. Yeah, so I will be transitioning into something else in the ACL. Can't really talk about that at the moment, but yeah, it will tie in with a bunch of other stuff. Not leaving the ACL. A lot of people say, "Oh, they're not. Your contract isn't going to be renewed. You should go somewhere else." No, ACL is where I'm at, where I'm staying. There's nowhere else I'm going to want to be. It's ACL or bust for me. If I'm not doing ACL, I'm quitting Cornhole. That's all I've got to say. Also, a little bit of news on Canadian Cornhole. And I'll thank Derek for letting me in on this here. Just let me pop it up here. Down in Texas, at the South Texas Best of the Best invitation-only tournament. Yes, he's so good that he got invited to an invitation-only tournament. Dion Kuza, because he says he's down there for work. He's just getting money other ways other than work. So he we'll look how he did through the bracket, going through there. His first game came up against Ernest Cisnero the third. Cisneros, sorry, Ernest. That's a name you might not know out of Texas, but not the first time these two have played. Dion actually played Ernest in the ACL Pro Qualifier down in Rock Hill. Dion was 2-1 at the time, needing to go 3-1 to advance. Played Ernest. Ernest defeated Dion 22-5, so they then met again earlier this afternoon, and Dion returned the favor, beating Ernest 22-5 in that game. Then Dion went up in the bracket. His next game, he had to play ACL Pro Gavin Cano in that game, and Dion 2 points away from winning it. He loses, 23-19 to get knocked down into the loser side. Dion then went on to beat Ben Frederick 21-12. Oh, sorry, beat Stacy Campbell 23-9, beat Ben Frederick 21. Sorry, beat Ben Frederick 21-12. Yes. then lost to Jordan. I'm going to butcher this name, Bosquez, 22-9. So Dion finishes 4th down in Texas at an invitation-only tournament. So that's just, people know I like to give my opinion. Sometimes my opinion isn't liked by everybody, but Dion, I believe, is the number one. Right there. Can I put my finger straight enough? Number one player in Canada. You just have to look at that. We've had 3 Opens in Canada. Dion has been the top Canadian at each one, even winning one. So I'm thinking Dion is a top player. Just because he's beat all the top players in Canada. So I think if you go by that, it has to be Dion being number one. So hoping we could be having some guests drop in. I'm just waiting for anyone to come in. I'm guessing someone may have an issue coming in because that person always has an issue, but we'll see. So any other questions? I know Keaton had the question. That's the big question that I've been asked by a lot of people. Other question I'd asked by people is about the WCO event over in Paris. That one, I had kind of talked to some people kind of off and on before the event. Popular or unpopular, I had Canada finishing 3rd or 4th behind the US, France, possibly Germany, Canada, Germany kind of in there. But I think that's right where almost everyone finished. So with that, I don't want this going into the Hockey Canada talk. Did we send our best? Did we not? Dion Kuza wasn't there. And we'll say, yes, he didn't go to the qualifier. Again, my opinion. I'm free from, I'm not with the ACL or anything anymore, which was not an ACL tournament, by the way. I know some people said, ACL, how did they pick the players? It was not an ACL event. That was a Canadian Cornhole Federation event for that. But for that qualifier, anyone outside of Ontario, we will bring in our, I'm not sure, is he there? There he is. He's just going to be silent. So anyway, that qualifier for the ACL, not ACL, the WCO, Canadian Cornhole Federation. For that it would have been an afternoon tournament we'll take Dion for an example, paying $1,000 flight, looking about 2 nights in a hotel, Toronto area, looking $500, looking at $2,000 trip to just try to qualify. So I think the qualifiers out there need to be spread out next year. I think they will be, but I think for this one here was just a little rushed. Again, my opinion. I think the guys over there did great. There were some events that were away from our 4 guys that we sent there that I don't agree with as well. Those 4 guys, I think, did an exemplary job of representing Canada. Just some of the other stuff, not by them, that kind of put a black eye on it. But Mr. McPhee, how you doing?
What is going on, friends in Canada?
So yes, Mr. Titan Bags, and I know everyone in KW, our league here, will be loving your banner behind you because we lost one of our OG players last few weeks here, Mr. Craig Raymond, who the term fucking dozers. I don't know if I can swear on Facebook or YouTube, whatever. I don't care because it's an ode to him. Nobody likes the Titan dozers up here just because you can't move them.
What? Listen, they just don't know how to throw bags then, because you can throw, for lack of a better term, a hard drag push through a dozer.
Well, I know there's a couple people in the chat that were not happy with them.
Listen, don't worry. A couple people in the chat. I'm coming up to Canada soon, and I will show you how to throw a dozer.
Well, how about you bring something else from Titan Bags? How about them try to push a Jekyll and slide?
Oh, listen. Here's the thing. I have Doug. You know I have a very prolific bag collection.
A little bit.
I do have 2 sets of Jekyll and Slide 3.0s that I travel with, a green set and a pink set. If anybody wants to play me with those sets, I will play for a beer a game up in Canada.
Well, and we tried to talk to one guy at our league night Thursday night there, and he looked at us kind of puzzled when we said one side is cloth, the other side is a tire, and he was kind of unsure of that.
Wait a minute, but they have never seen the 1.0s, Dougie. The 1.0 was looked like a friggin' Huffy tire. It had knobbies and everything all over it. That thing would just hit the board and move the board like a foot and a half. That's the first bag I fell in love with.
Yeah, I think I've only thrown one version of it, and I believe it might be what's the latest version?
The 4.0s are the latest
I think it
version.
might have been. It was a very forgiving bag. It didn't feel like it was glued to the board, so I don't think it was quite like those ones.
Well, there is a very special set of 1.0s. The only set ever made in white, Doug.
Yep.
Has a very beautiful visage on them. It has
Your former partner?
my It has my beautiful face on them with the
McCracken
logo.
McCracken. It's got McCracken.
Yeah, that's cute. Come on. Look it. I'm growing my beard so I can come up to Canada when it gets really cold.
Yeah, I've kind of got a little bit going because we've got the ice in now. So look at there's in the chat, Mr. Bobby Speary.
Oh, one of my friends from New York.
Which I cannot wait for Jimmy Eubens to come up to the Open if there is an Open. I don't know anything.
Who?
If there is an Open in Newfoundland, Bobby Speary has already challenged him to throw a curling rock like a cornhole bag.
His arm will snap like a twig.
Well, he's got the biggest arms in cornhole.
Yeah, that's cornhole. What about real life? No, but that's good. So I would love. So last year, I didn't get to come up to. I went to the first ever Canadian Open, but last year I didn't get to come up because I had some family obligations. But this year I'm definitely putting it on the calendar to get up there. If I don't get to one of the Opens, I will definitely be in the Toronto area to come up and just have a weekend long hang with one of my best friends in the whole wide world, Mr. Corn Dog.
Well, I'm not in the Toronto area.
You're close enough. Jesus Christ. Listen, I live in Boston, so everything's at least a 2-hour drive. So come on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I guess I will get in. We're like I'm 13 minutes in. I guess I will get into the first question I took from Keaton was about the what was it again there, Keaton? The 32. What was it here? Yes, I can even do this. Look at that. I can do this now.
So how are the
pros being selected for the Canadian Pro Tour?
How are they being selected for the Canadian Pro Tour? So how does that how does the qualification begin for them?
I don't know.
I can tell you.
That's my honest answer. I have no idea.
Do you want the answer?
Sorry?
You want the answer?
If you know it, then you've got the Cadbury secret.
Yeah. So Keaton, they have to throw bags towards the hole.
Yes. I do know that we have 2 already. We have Connor Weiss and James Finley, who were the 1 and 2 players at the pro qual. So Connor got the full pro status plus Canadian, and then James Finley for finishing second got the Canadian pro status as well. But that I wasn't at the pro qualifier, but Connor Weiss, he would have been my pick going in because I watched him down in Rock Hill at the pro qualifier down there, and he was focused. Like, we had a little bit of a party for the Canadians on the Saturday night before the pro qualifier on the Sunday morning. He didn't show up because he was in bed early. He was up ready to go. He went 4-0 in the pro qualifier. Then he had that 4-hour break before going into the second round, and he didn't get what he wanted to out of that second round.
So, Doug, I think it should be changed from the American Cornhole League to the America's Cornhole League.
It could, yes.
Well, because here's the thing: we're all part of North America, right? Even though you guys call yourselves Canada, you're still part of it. Don't give me that bullshit up there and freaking.
Why don't we go a little bit like football and have the World League of American Cornhole? Because didn't they have the World League of American Football there for a little while?
Well, it's got to be something, because there. Like, I understand where a lot of these questions are coming from, because the line between Canadian Pro and American Cornhole League Pro, it can get a little blurred, right? Because you can make it into one, or USA is part of Keaton. Seriously, really? That's not happening. And
well, actually,
wait a minute. Can we just tell Keaton it's a Y, not an IE? By the way, it's a Y.
Yes, yeah. Actually, if you go back to the maps pre-1812, U.S. had a little more land, and we kind of took some back. But that's
cute. Listen, Montreal's a better city. That's all I have to say. Greatest hockey team in the whole wide world.
Oh, I thought you were going to say for other reasons.
What?
I thought you were going to say for other reasons.
All the churches that are there?
Yeah. There's a lot of folk dancing places there. All that.
No, but the line right now, Doug, honestly, is blurred a little bit when you look at, Canadian cornhole player versus American Cornhole League player, because you fall into the World Cornhole Organization at the same time. So It does make it a little more ambiguous, right? I mean, the guys that went over to France did a really great job. I think they represented Canada well. But I just gotta say, Revo or Revolt, whatever his name, like, that guy's an animal.
And same with Bruno.
Yeah.
Right. And even go down one more with them, with France and David Parody, who played in the doubles part of it. Just on fire.
I mean, France, like, literally, you called it. I was laughing at your predictions when you sent them to me, but you kind of called the way it was going to finish. I'm quite impressed, Doug.
I think I'm going to start a new gambling website, I think. And I'm just going to put my stuff out there. And
down and pay me.
Yes. Yeah. No, but it was no slight to our Canadian guys over there. But I looked at our lineup, and I just thought, I knew, because we know that Brandon and Bernie were gonna play well over there. But for and no knock on David or Nian, but it was kind of their first time in a big spotlight like that. So I wasn't sure just how they were gonna react to it.
Well, listen, even though the lights were in Paris, and I know the lights on L'Arc de Triomphe and the Eiffel Tower are pretty bright, but the lights on the ACL stage are even brighter, and it comes with a lot more pressure. You know what I mean? That bag gets a little heavier under the lights. The board maybe is not working the way you want it to work, so it's a little tougher. But I think they played very well. At the same time, you're playing against some people that don't have a lot to lose.
Yeah.
Right? They haven't been in the spotlight. They haven't had to, play some of the games that you've had to play against, some of the players in either in down in the States or up in, wherever you're playing, but it makes it a little tougher. I mean, Bobby Sperry's right there saying, truth right there. It gets a little tougher when you get there and you're on that main stage. And I don't care if it's the ACL main stage or one of the side courts that are broadcasting. And I know they didn't have broadcasting side courts, but you come to some of the tournaments like that, me and you've been there. It makes it a little harder. And Brandon Brown, it wasn't your fault. You didn't let the team
not at
down.
all.
It literally. It's a little tougher when you get, you get to the end, you get to those final brackets, it makes it a lot tougher.
And I feel, for us up here, we when we play in tournaments, we're just playing against our, most time it's just people from Ontario. Over in Europe at their tournaments, they're playing the top 15, top 20 in Europe all the time. They're, someone once said metal against metal or whatever makes you better.
What?
But
Who said that?
I don't know. I don't know who that, but or iron, whatever.
Iron sharpens iron.
That'd be it. Whatever. But over there, they're playing against those top players all the time, right? So I think that's going to make them better for themselves. Because like our pro, the pro division in the U.S. kind of almost the same thing.
But Doug, do you get a little bit of juice when you've been here playing against all those people every day, right? Day in, day out. I saw it when I was up in Niagara. I saw when Team Canada went against Team USA, right? You get that little bit of extra push because you're playing against the teams you've watched on TV, right?
Yeah.
You're playing against those people, and it gives you that little bit more energy. And I think like a lot of that happened, I think, with the, ACL Europe. I think a lot of that's going to happen ACL Australia. I think you're going to see some dark horses that maybe if you're not following ACL Australia are going to come out of the bush. See what I did there?
Yeah.
And it's gonna make it a little different because you're gonna try to, play a little better against those people.
Well, and not to knock the guy, but for the U.S., the four that went over the U.S. was Trey Birchfield the weak link on the U.S. team. Like, who would have thought to say that? Like, how many games did he not win over there? I don't want to say that he lost them, but how many games did he not win against maybe names you've never heard of?
Well, when we were in Niagara for the first year, who was the standout player for the U.S. team?
Bobby. Oh well. You got that first year was Power.
Yeah. No.
Sorry, Chris Kingsbury.
Kingsbury was the key player in that match, right? Kingsbury, who was not a pro at the time, the only person on the team that was not a pro, literally was the one hitting all the clutch shots and really pulling that team in. Like I'm going to say this, and I love you, Jordan. Love all the rest of the team. But if it wasn't for Kingsbury, Team Canada would have won.
I would agree with that right there.
Because he pushed them forward.
Yeah, and then he showed it in the pro division this year. So does that mean that McBride will be the one to come up because Sam Finley brought her up to Niagara this year?
You don't know because you like some players, depending on where they are and what they're trying to do and what they're trying to prove, I think sometimes will play not above their level because I think that's kind of misspeaking, but will play to their best game. You know what I mean? They'll hit the bags that they need to hit. They'll get that muscle memory, and I think it helps a lot.
Yeah, and it's just all that the all the hype of the people coming over from North America, and I think you're on your own turf, so you want to represent that as much as you can.
Listen, I did buy tickets for a free trip to Australia. So I might be able to play with Tony Smith, who I can play with maybe if he lets me play with him because like I'm from New England with him, but I'm not that good, so he won't let me play. But I did get some tickets. But yeah, I mean, sometimes when you play, like Bobby Sperry just said, like sometimes you play with no fear. You're playing with that reckless abandon. You're gonna go for shots you might not necessarily throw, but you're gonna play at a much different level.
Mm-hmm. I kind of use this term mostly with the kids that I coach in hockey that are not supposed to know how good they are, but are they too dumb to know they're supposed to be that they should be that good this quick?
But I love that. I love that about some people because guess what? The thing that really drives me crazy about this game are the people that know they're good, right? And I'm not talking about some of the pros. I'm talking about some of the people you play against on a Tuesday night, right? When they start to know they're good, they can start to rub people the wrong way, right?
Yep.
And sometimes it can turn other players off because you know what happens when some people show up that maybe aren't as good as other people think they are, and it pushes people away, and then it's just not as fun anymore.
Yeah, and to Brandon's point there, how about Tracy DeCoste, Kerry Shillelagh taking down Tony Smith and Mike Hennessy
Who?
in Europe?
Who? Carrie? I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
What?
Your area,
Yeah, Lady Tornado and Tracy, they played amazing. I mean, listen,
Yeah.
here's the thing, and that's what it is. When your bags are working and the other team is pushing a little bit and maybe trying to make bags work, because listen, I love Tony to death, but sometimes he's thrown some bags that are a little suspect, right? Because maybe the boards aren't working for him, maybe his bags are kicking a bit. He pushes the bag a bit, and Tracy and Kerry kind of capitalized on that and took advantage, and they had a really great win. And you know what? I will not take anything away from them too, because guess what? They played their bags and made it work. And they played a great game.
Yeah.
You're exactly right, Keating. Nobody wants to play against that person. And nobody wants to play a person that's going to sit there and like discount the game or discount the person they're playing against. We're all here to have fun. We're throwing beanbags, right? We're here to have a great friggin' time. Yeah, maybe a couple of us might crush a 2, 3, 72 beers, and have a great time. But at the same time, it's a lot of fun. Coombs and Halfpenny, I don't know. I don't know if Doug might have to carry that team.
No, but yeah, so another little thing, just kind of thinking about the talking about the 32 Canadian pros. So, like I said, I'm no longer with ACL Canada, so I don't have any insight information. Which, even when I was with ACL Canada, I didn't have any inside information because I know it's been looked at since June, and I know we were trying to get some information to get ready to put some stuff out. We didn't get any information, so I have no idea. I know there's talking about a pro tour, which is going to be, I'm not sure how many events coming through that there, or if we're going to be having more opens in Canada. I think that's the process. But starting Monday on the Facebook page, I'll be putting out 8 players for 4 days in a row. My predicted top 32. So when you see that predicted top 32, and if you think your name should be on there or whatever, don't talk to anyone else but me. I've already talked to some other people, and they're like, great, thanks. Now you're going to have people upset with me if their name's not on there. It is my predicted top 32 players who will be in the pro division.
All right, Doug. So just a quick question here. I know there's been a lot of changes this year, right? So
Yep.
You're not on the ACL kind of staff anymore, and a lot of things have changed. But everybody in the chat, if you're in the chat right now, let me know, because yesterday was the opening of registration. Let me know what level you signed up for and why.
I know which one I didn't sign up for.
I listen. I signed up for triple platinum. It's a special one. Stacy made it just for me, so you guys can't sign up for it. Don't worry about
it. That's because you're an elite type of guy.
I'm past elite.
Yes.
But listen, I think it's interesting this year the way they kind of worked the structure to get people in. I did not expect the letter to go out to people that got automatic spots in the the PDC or elite / diamond this year. When it came out, I didn't think anybody was going to get pulled into it.
Well, yeah, because that was the big talk down in Rock Hill was, because the rumors started to come out there that there was going to be no PDC. A lot of people were talking about it, and that there was going to be some other thing, and they're like, how are we going to, for people, because you had people who were going for those PDC points all season, right? And then they all of a sudden it's like, oh, sorry, you're not there's no PDC anymore. So
no, it was a shocker to me when I started people starting to post it, right? Because I think it's great that they pulled people in. And with gold, I don't believe you can see your status, right? You cannot follow your stats. I think you have to be platinum or higher.
I think you can for gold, I think.
Let me see. Hold on. I got a screenshot here on the on my
But Angela, I think you're kind of like me, and we don't really need to see our stats.
Hold on.
We're just here for fun.
You will participate in ACL events. You appear in the standings. You'll get a discount on regional, state, conference, open, world championships. You're eligible for the 40-point bonus per month. You get free ACL wallet deposits, and you get access to personal stats.
Yep.
So if you move up $50, you basically go over that and you get the free wallet withdrawal and 50% off the ACLDN and early access to open events and world championships. So that's the big difference between gold and platinum.
Mm-hmm. So, from the guy who knows it all.
Well, no, I'm reading from a script.
Yes, I think, and as Keaton says, that's 159 for us Canadian. But yeah, I think that's the next step is to kind of,
I keep forgetting the exchange rate.
Yeah.
But your beer has more potency, so that's my big exchange rate.
Yeah. We got stronger beer.
Stronger beer.
Which now thinking about that, moving over to the U.S., Bobby Sperry, I will be over to play January 19th to the 21st, I believe. I'll be over in Buffalo playing. I made sure of that because I've got a kids hockey tournament in Buffalo. I made sure it was in Buffalo.
Buffalo is only like I think a 7-hour drive for me. So I might
Mikey's really going. Well, it's because Mikey, you got so many regionals in your area. You got the Four Joke guys that are really pumped up. So actually, you know what? Talking about Four Joke, we've got the new conference director here for Ontario, which and a lot of people had no idea about this because that's one of my other big pet peeves with the ACL is when you go look at stats, there's just the ACL Canada Conference. There was 5 other conferences I believe we had in there, but there was a Central Canada Conference, which was Ontario and Quebec. The Maritime was another one with Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, PEI, New Brunswick. Then we had Prairies and then the West. So now this year, the Ontario and Quebec have separated. So Ontario is going to be its own conference with Corey Ewart being that conference director. Not exactly sure who the conference director will be in Quebec, but I know a lot of people out of New York will be able to go up into Quebec and play in some ACL regionals or any other tournaments. So we have that new news that came out. That was kind of my other little thing is that as a social media person, I found out about that on a Facebook post by somebody else. So it was just Quebec wanted in. Quebec wanted in. That's what it was, Keaton.
So send me some dates for all the stuff happening in Canada because right now for 2024, I only have 2 events planned, and that is both of the Triple Crown events where I will be out there doing all of their live feed stuff with all my equipment. So I'll be there in January and I'll be there in, I believe, March. But other than that, in 2024, my dance card is empty.
Well, once I know about any other big events in Canada, I will let you know because I am still waiting to find out on that one as well too. So because then I can make another announcement. So once the powers that be let the masses know, then I can.
Well, I think you're going through the same growing pains that we're going through right now here in New England. So I'm out of the Boston area, and we're kind of going through the same thing right now where we are we lost in the last 2 years 5 different local directors. So it kind of cut down on some of the different events that can be run, or, traveling distance to be run. Even though, Boston is pretty small area,
Mhm.
like outside of Boston, it makes it pretty tough. Like going down to the Cape, going out to Western Mass, it's kind of a drive. I mean, I live about 8 miles from the New Hampshire border, but for me to get to my closest next director, which would be Tornado, it's literally, 40-minute drive for me. So, doing that on a Tuesday night after work is a little tougher.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing is really want to caution a lot of the players here in Canada is that we weren't really sure with year number 1 for the ACL Canada up here. Last year we had year number 2. The ACL is in a 10-year plan for developing Canada to where they want it, have it like the way it is in the US. So this having the pros in Canada here this upcoming year, we're like 5 years ahead in that plan. So to have there's going to be it's going to be a mess year number 1. It's like it was in the U.S. It's we're not going to be best. You're going to have to wait. You're going to get 8 a day there, Justin. It's I'm not coming out now. I'll give you the first 2. Finley, Weiss. There you go. There's 2. Just need 30 more.
Who's Finley?
James Finley, who's a fantastic player, which I want to say that he snuck up on a lot of people, but there's no way that he could sneak up on anyone. So it's
where is he out of?
He's out of. He plays a whole bunch of. He's a traveling guy, so he plays up north and plays up out of the Stroud area with Moondog in there. So.
Okay. Well, when you say north, I mean that could be anywhere between Canada and the North Pole.
So he's got like Sudbury. He's got Sudbury way up there that he goes and plays with, and wherever he's working, that's where he plays. He's like a Dion Kuza, just doesn't win in American money.
All right, Justin Clark is saying Aurelia.
Yeah, kind of like in and around that area.
Yeah, I have no idea what that means, but sure.
Yeah,
like I said, I don't do Google Maps.
Yeah, but
so who's Derek Barrett? What do you think of that?
You know what? I will say the one thing with Derek in the St. John's Open in singles, the only person to beat Dion Kuza the whole day for singles, rounders and in the bracket. Yes.
Okay.
And then he lost to him the second time he played with him. That's because he went and he dried his bags. His bags were a little damp. Dried his bags. Didn't play as good the next time.
All right. See, look, I'm learning so much about Canada through Cornhole. I feel like an ambassador. I should be like the new ambassador to Canada or something.
Whenever this show says the word ambassador in the month of September, I get in trouble. I lose sponsors, get in trouble. So we can't say the word ambassador in September.
Listen, I knew your last sponsor. I'll be okay with him.
Actually, you know what? And I'm okay with him as well. I got to have a few laughs with him, and he's actually the one that said me giving out predictions will get him in trouble, cause grief for him. But for anyone with when I give my top 32, it's my top 32. No one else's. I have no other information. I have no idea how this is going on. Only thing I did ask one question. I said, will there be online virtual qualifiers? I was told this is 2023. There's no virtual anymore. And I was like, yes. So.
Well, listen, the C word that can't be spoken is starting to spike again. So we might be back there.
You know what? I don't want to say, but I think I got that at Worlds. But that may have been because everyone else was sick and I'm sharing headsets and microphones with them doing live feeds.
It happened. That's why I bring my own headset.
Yeah, well, that's the one thing I didn't pack because I really wasn't expecting. I was hoping to get into live feeds, not hoping people would get sick. People got sick. Some other people had to play. I got to fill in, and big thanks to Corey out of California for letting me on his live feed and letting me use a telestrator. I felt like the big time using a telestrator.
That's pretty cool. I need one of
It was
those.
it was fun.
I need my sponsors to kick in some more money so I can buy some more equipment.
Well, yeah, it was his to use, but yeah,
Listen,
it was fun.
my sponsors just fly me around the country and let me do crazy dumb shit and talk to like Chuck Liddell.
Yeah, I didn't get to talk to Chuck Liddell. I got to shake hands with, and you know what? And I've said this to many people, and I'm comfortable in saying this. I shook the hand of the softest hand I have ever shaken before, belonging to Shamar Moore.
He has soft hands.
Oh yes, yeah. I'm comfortable in saying that. So yeah. But,
so Doug, can I just let you know though, when I was at Spencer McKenzie's,
yes,
I got there on Thursday afternoon to help set up my live feed court with Titan bags.
I didn't see you at the Thursday night tournament though.
No, we were back at the house hanging out and crushing 1,000 beers because I had a goal for the weekend. It was 1,000 beers, and I did 1,000 too. But after we set up,
a cork on it.
Was that?
You pull a cork on it?
Some bitch.
Bang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got myself in trouble for that, but I'll tell you that story offline.
I got a cork in this Harris Beach Rye 51.
Wait, but
bottle.
Listen, I'm still supposed to figure out how I can get that.
You can now check and see if you can get on the lcbo.com website.
Can I get it through duty free?
The duty free at the Queenston Bridge, when anyone in Ontario was heading over to the Coliseum in Buffalo to see Bobby, stop into duty free in the Queenston Bridge. You can get Harris Beach Rye 51 there.
All right, I might have to bring my passport just to drive back and forth.
Yep.
But when I was out in California, hanging out with Team Titan, I got to talking to John, who is Mr. Spencer McKenzie's. And I told him on Thursday night I needed a very special VIP badge because you know who I am. I just need to get in the special tent.
Yep.
And on Friday afternoon, I had a very special VIP badge so I can get in the tent. So I could hang out with. I got to talk to Mike Hennessy. I got to talk to some of the guys from SWAT Cornhole. And I also got to
That'd be Odie and David. I got to talk with them as well too.
Yeah, Odie and yep. So they were there, and I also got to kind of hang out with Chuck, and I got to hang out with Sonny Lumsford, who is a really good recording artist that plays that tournament every year. But Dougie, next year you need to come out and hang out with us.
I do, yes. So you didn't hang out with the other guy that was in that VIP tent?
I made up with that guy that was in that tent because he was very upset with me based on some T-shirts that my old podcast might have made.
No, not that guy. The other guy. Guy that I made really good friends. I got to sit on a live feed with him for a bunch of times. Even played him, and I almost beat him. Mr. Sean Latham.
Oh, I hung out in Sean's trailer. So Sean brought a mobile bar.
Yeah.
I did get to hang out with another guy that you played against, Mr. Trey Ryder. I might have maybe borrowed his name badge just to get some free drinks. Because my VIP badge didn't get me free drinks, but his media pass did get some. I'm not going to say I did that because I don't want to ruin my relationship with Stacy, so I can still be the antagonist of the ACL. But there was no Kool-Aid in the tent, Keaton. I just had to hang out because guess what? Me and Doug have to stay close, but we don't have to be friends. We can be frenemies.
Well, it's Oh, my other guest is still driving. He doesn't want to come on.
He doesn't like me.
So yeah. Well, no, my other guest, he kind of does like you, but it's just he's still driving. Apparently, it's the hotel and the bar that they were playing at is very far apart in Texas. Who knew? But yeah, for anyone who didn't catch that off the top of the show, who's watching now, Dion Kuza finishing 4th in the, what did I say that tournament was called there, Derek? You got it before me? The South Texas Best of the Best Invitation Only, where Dion Kuza finished 4th in that. They're losing to the final that there went. Winning it was a boy Vargas. Is that Jordan Power Scorholio name? Because he beat Gavin Cano in the final.
What's the tournament name?
The South Texas Best of the Best. I know Jordan's at home. He's now in the Carolina Conference. But I thought maybe, that could have been Jordan. But
I'm just going to search the entire country with one of my sponsors.
Yeah, but again, for the people there that just, again, like I said, just tuning in, Dion Kuza comes 2 points away from beating Gavin Cano. He lost 23-19 to Gavin. And he also, in the first round of the bracket, he revenged his loss in the ACL Pro Qualifier in Rock Hill to Ernest Cisnero the third. Ernest beat him 22-5 in Rock Hill. Dion then earlier this afternoon defeated him 22-5 to knock him into the loser bracket. But yeah, Dion is just, wherever he goes, all he does is win. Which is he likes the same hockey team you do, so I'm not sure how he can be a winner.
So in the first round, Dion won 22-5.
Yes.
And then
beat Ernest Cisnero the third.
Then lost in the second round to Gavin Cano, 23-19. That's a really good game right there.
Yep.
And then dropped down, played Stacy Campbell in game 11, won 23-9.
Yep.
Then played Ben Frederick, 21-12. And then for the fourth place game, lost to Jordan Bosk, 22-8. So, and then Jordan lost to Gavin Cano, 21-16. So right there, he was playing, kind of the best of the best.
Yep. Which is why the tournament was best of the best in South Texas.
Yep. Invitation.
But it was just, I want to say it was Tuesday night that he took down the early bird singles, picked up like $70 for that, and then won the doubles blind draw after that same night at the venue. So it's, when he goes down there, he's just, like he said, the first time he went down there, they were kind of shocked that he was Canadian and an ACL pro at the time. Well, an international pro, but still so now whenever he's down there, they want him going and playing wherever they're at. So, but yeah.
Listen, cornhole's only getting bigger and bigger. No matter where you go, you can find it. You used to find it in like minimal bars and other stuff when, a couple of years ago. Now you find it almost everywhere. And if you follow the greatest software in the whole wide world,
ACL? That's like 4, like that you just silence. It's just
no, Scorholio, because if you're not keeping score with Scorholio, your game is pointless, Doug. Come on.
Well, I've had Ben on the show a couple times, so it's
who?
So yeah. Ben Scorholio. But but yeah, I've so I've got a bunch of stuff coming up that I'm really pumped about for this new season. For going into season number 4 of this show. Like, who thought I'd be around for 4 years doing this? But which is now now that there's some other one in the Boston area is officially gone. Trey has dumped his show is gone. That now the Down and Back is the longest running cornhole podcast that talks ACL.
Yeah, I think you beat those other two chubby kids by a week.
Oh no. Well, you guys were the same week as I was, and then I believe that was in October, I believe, that we started, and then those other guys start up in around February because I had Sean on to talk about his new podcast that they were doing. So, got to help out those small guys.
Well, don't worry. Stay tuned. Somebody may be doing some stuff soon and bringing some stuff back, and somebody's always traveling. So if you want to, follow my exploits, I still have the channel on the Book of Face, the Voice of Cornhole. If you want to follow me, I do a lot of.
You also got the YouTube thing as well, too, don't you?
I got a little bit of YouTube going on. I'm kind of doing some stuff with some guys up here where we're doing some stuff with, just talking about local New England stuff. But I'll also be traveling the country doing, the Voice of Cornhole and just making sure that I stay in touch with the community. I still have, most of my sponsors on board this year where, Titan Cornhole Bags is my main sponsor. Greba is one of the most amazing people in the whole wide world. He takes care of me. But I also have a ton of other friends in this game where, Dragon Bags, Jersey Guy, Local Bags, Burley Bags, all these people that I'm still pretty much involved in the community, and no matter what I'm doing, I'll still be kind of hanging out and traveling and hanging out with amazing people like you, Doug.
Well, yeah, and it's just the game is just fun. I know I believe all of my sponsors are coming back. There's one that I still haven't talked to yet, but he's been busy, so I'm gonna message him again, and possibly having two more new ones coming on that just waiting for messages back that I've already talked to before. One, it was actually kind of funny because I'd seen Tyler Poitras down in Rock Hill when I was eating at the Old Town Grill there, seeing him wearing the shirt of one of these sponsors. I was like, hey, who runs that? Because they've kind of done a bunch of, shared a bunch of my stuff. And he's like, oh, Brandon's right here. Not your Brandon, but this guy right here. So, and I was like, okay. And then just started talking to him about, possibly hooking up and doing some stuff with the show. And then, yeah, so hopefully I'll have a couple more come on, some more cornhole stuff. And it's just...
Does that company make a lot of clothing?
One does, one doesn't.
All right. We'll talk more after we sign off here.
Okay, yeah, sure, yeah, not a problem. But yeah, so I've got a bunch of stuff coming up. I believe Eric Charney's going to be making another return to the show. I've been talking about him because as it is sponsor time, talk with him a bit more again. Third year in a row talking about what to do and how to get sponsors, and that that big name company CEO is not your friend on Facebook. So when you put out I'm looking for a sponsor, some people may think you're just AA type of sponsor and not a cornhole sponsor. So it's...
I still have lots of CEOs.
Okay. But yeah, so it's I intend on having a really good year. I know I didn't do as much last year as I wanted to. I was doing some other stuff, and it was just kind of taking over some time. So now it's just trying to focus on the show, possibly the new role coming up with the ACL. We'll see how that there goes. But yeah, I just want to have some fun with cornhole. Just bring fun back to cornhole.
Here's the thing. We both have an affiliation with the ACL.
Yep.
But we're not decision makers. We're not people that can make stuff happen. Here's the thing. We don't drink the Kool-Aid. We say what we want to say. And listen, I've had conversations with Trey and Stacy about this. You've gotten deeper with the ACL than I have, but I consider both of us media.
Mm-hmm.
And our job is to talk about cornhole.
Yep.
Not to just talk about the ACL. I have friends in the I talk to the TCL. I talk to the CCL. You know, Meacham's a really good friend. I talk to, the DPL, out in California. Like there's so many other leagues out there that are doing some great things, and there's some regional stuff that's also happening. And that's what it's all about. It's about
Yep.
growing the game of cornhole, not growing an organization of cornhole. So that's what it's about. And Keaton, the bag rules, I don't like it that much. I
Well,
don't
see, there
understand.
we're gonna differ. So it's we're at 55. What the hell? We'll keep going here. Um, bag rules for me. For me, blow it out of the water. Go even further. Go even further.
Go where?
Go even further. As long as your bag looks the same, has the same logo on it, has the same whatever on it, you know what? Throw have a Terminator, have a Hustler X, have two Outlaws in your thing. As long as they look the same, why not?
You're like Pat McCracken. You're crazy. Come on.
No, actually, you know what? And if people want to go back, and I believe may still have it on the audio side, to check back with audio. I had a kind of a round table, and way back a couple years ago, Matt from Octane said that exact same thing. He was like, "Why not?"
But why? But wait a minute. Explain to me. Why do you need 4 different weights of bags?
Well, one might be a blocking type bag, or whatever, or even, you know what, even go a little further, that you might be able to call a timeout, saying if you want to keep all 4 bags the same, be able to call a timeout in mid game because the board conditions have changed from when you may have went on that board earlier in the day, right? It may have gotten stickier, may have gotten slicker, and you can change your full 4 set of bags.
Yeah, but you can't change the bags right now. You can only have different weights. You can't.
But why not? Why not? Why not allow you to be able to call a timeout and change your bag?
Listen, this is not Tom Brady. You can't let air out of the ball.
A batter can go and change his bat mid at bat. The hockey player can change his stick.
Here's
right?
the thing.
Why not?
I just don't see the advantage to it, because this game right now, with the bags that are being thrown and the materials that are out there, it's a game of touch, right? It's
Yep.
it's a game. It's not even inches anymore. It's millimeters, right? They used to say football was a game of inches.
Yep.
Cornhole's a game of millimeters, where I just don't see even some of the best players in the world, because I made this prediction. My prediction is the first person to be able to have 4 different bags is Frank Modlin.
Oh yeah.
Because he can make it work. But I just don't see the advantage there, because are you gonna do 4 different weights, or are you gonna do 2 and 2? Are you gonna do 3 and 1? Are you gonna throw like a heavy
well,
blocker first? What are you gonna do?
well, okay, yeah. So what if you have one where you want to throw a heavy blocker because you know your opponent is only I can only slide the bag in. He doesn't have an airmail game. They don't have a roll game. All they got is an up and in game. I'm going to slide the bag in every time. So my first bag, I want a heavier bag, or something that's going to stick. Throw a blocker up there, and they're going to have 3 other bags that I know that are really broken in, that are going to airmail easier, and I'm just going to airmail over top of that. So why can't I do that? That's my strategy in the game. That's my chess part of the game. Not playing checkers, just up and in. I want to bring that strategy part into the game. Why can't I?
No, I understand strategy. I understand it, Doug, but I just don't see how the weight is gonna affect it, because you're
You're
talking.
starting to agree with me.
What's that?
You're starting to agree. You're starting to kind of think of like, well, yeah, you know what? It kind of makes
No,
sense.
no, because you're talking ounces. You're not talking pounds, you're talking ounces.
But it's also talking bag fabric, the one that may not be as loose, may want to stick and just kind of stay in and be a heavier kind of fabric,
But
right?
right
And it's not
now,
going to move as well.
the rules, I got them right here, say it can only be weight. It doesn't say different fabrics.
Yes, I know, but I'm saying push that through and say you can have the different, like, it's as long as it's Titan bag, as long as it's a local bag, it's that same brand,
So you're
and it
saying
looks
same
the same.
color,
It's
same
the same
design.
color, same bag design. Only thing that's going to change is just the name of the Hustler, the Titan Devastator, the Dozer, whatever. As long as it's that same brand and looks exactly the same, why not?
So you're saying same color, same artwork on all
Yep,
4 bags. It doesn't matter
yep,
what they are.
yep.
I don't know. I
It's
don't
it's
like
like a golfer going into his golf bag.
Yeah, but a golfer is allowed 14 clubs. We're allowed 4 bags.
Why not allow us 8 bags? Why not allow us 6 bags?
But because the game is only played with 4.
You only throw 4, but you have that one, right?
Yeah,
Why not? It's
but in golf, the big rule there is how many balls you have in your bag. So do you limit that?
well, your bag becomes your balls. It's you have your 6, right? It's
I don't know. I don't
right.
like I'm a purist. I just think all bags should be the same. I don't know. Because here's the thing. When you show up with the board,
Mhm.
you have, especially when they're on TV, right?
Yep,
If you've been there for the broadcast, I've been there for the broadcast. You have, 2 to 3 down and backs. You can figure out if that bag's working or not.
yep. But then, what if you take it to you're not on the broadcast court? You're on that other court that's right by the door into the venue, and all of a sudden, you know what? It's getting a little too hot in here, getting a little too cold in here. Someone all of a sudden props that door open. Those board changes on that court automatically change, right? They automatically change because of anything that's coming into that building. It's going to affect those boards right there. You may need a change because they're going to change midway.
And I think that's where the skill comes in. You take a little off, you take a half step back, you got to figure it out. Like I just don't I like it's the fungo rule, right? Remember the fungo bats in
Yeah,
baseball? You can use them during practice, but you can't use them during the game. That's the same thing for me. It's like a corked bat in baseball. I just don't like the change. I don't know. Call me old fashioned. I just don't like it.
we have to be forward thinkers.
Well, yeah, but
Forward
being forward and progressive, does it move the game forward or does it make it worse? Like, here's the thing right there, right in the chat, damp bags, right? A damp bag, you could throw, let's just say an 8-4 or an 8-5, right?
Yep.
That bag plays way different when it's dry than when it plays when it's wet, right? You put a little moisture on the board, you can throw a heavier blocker. So, like at that point, you're throwing against conditions. You're not throwing against the bag, you're throwing against the board. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, but
No.
you know what? I just think it brings a lot more skill into the game if you keep everything the same.
I know that I have brought up my idea to an ACL executive, a top player, top no top. I'm gonna say player because he doesn't actually play, but he's a player within the ACL. His comeback was interesting. Maybe that might come up.
Everything's interesting because they don't want to say it's bad. No,
Well, you
but I
never
mean,
know.
listen, here's the thing. Everything's going to change. There's going to be a lot of stuff, and there's going to be a lot of stuff that is tried that people don't like. I won't
Yep.
like it. You won't like it. We might agree to disagree, but I think in the infancy of the sport, because we're still kind of, even though it's been around for a long time, it's now becoming more mainstream. I think we need to try some stuff. Am I going to like it? Probably not, but we got to try some stuff to keep moving forward. Like even we started with Super Hole, right?
Yep.
And it was all just football players. What happened the last year and a half?
We got into more.
We got into a
yeah.
lot of different celebrities, right?
Yeah.
So because we got to bring in, other people, other demographics, other kind of, sports and other stuff. Because if you're gonna grow it, people are playing it, bring them in anyways. Let's make it happen.
Which people send me your if you want to see a Super Bowl in Canada with Canadian celebrities, send them to me because I posed that question to the powers that be down in Rock Hill, and they were like, "Give us some celebrities." So
I think number 35 from the greatest team in the whole wide world, the Canadiens, Mike McPhee should get brought on.
maybe, but no, I think that's what we would kind of need to have up. I think that would help up here, and I know within the Super Bowl, seeing some stuff last night. I guess.
Well, why don't we have an international Super Bowl?
Why not? I
think everybody else around the world should be able to play the winner of the U.S. Super Bowl.
Yes. But I think we should then be able to use Doug Flutie for the Canadian side as well.
He's from Natick. Come on.
Hey, big with the Argos, big with the Stampeders.
Listen, he's got a couple Grey Cups. I understand. I get it. Listen, I love that man to death. He literally, when I used to work for a small company called Circuit City, he was in my store all the time because him and his family lived around the corner. Amazing man, great family man. I miss him because now he lives in, I think, that horrible state called Florida.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's okay. And he hangs out with like Matt Guy, my other best friend.
Yeah. So speaking of all of that, we'll kind of wrap up here. We're a little over the hour. I was only thinking like 20 minutes, but it seems like whenever we talk, it just doesn't stop.
Listen, the people.
All these new partner changes. Your thoughts on that? I know one that I was a little frustrated with because the one guy made me sit on it for a week and not tell anyone anything until they put it out there. But that was a new ultra team member being Mike Ferreira and Damon Dennis playing together. That was one I did not see coming.
I didn't see that coming either because, as you know, I'm a pretty big member of Team Titan, and I wish Mike the best. I know he left Team Titan to go over to Ultra, and I think it's great for him. And he's playing with one of the most amazing people in Cornhole. Damon Dennis is the true salt of the earth. I love that man to death. He is. If anyone wants to hear the story, I will tell them on the side. But he is the first person I ever talked to in Cornhole. But I think there's some pretty big partnerships happening this year. There's a lot of money being thrown around.
Yep.
But the one thing I will say is stay tuned for the Team Titan announcement. I don't know what's going to happen there because I'm not privy to all the information, but there's a reason they always announce last because it's always one of the biggest.
Yes. So yeah, so we went the hour 8. We've had the new thing where we've been on Facebook and YouTube together. I think we've had most of the viewers on Facebook. So anyone who's not watching on Facebook wants to go and give this some views on YouTube as well, feel free to go round 2. It may be a bit different. I'm not sure. Just check it out. And then even make sure you go over to YouTube if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe. Stuck at 528. We need to get to 550. We'll give away some more stuff. I know I've got a couple hoodies that are going out to some people, and you can always check out that on the Facebook page. Hit the shop button. Go and buy some merchandise. Help out the show. Help me get to some different venues. Help me get some new cameras because stay tuned for some of those announcements coming up. But yeah, check out all of the stuff here. Just seeing James comment here about the bag companies that once made sure all these pros are able to afford to travel to all these events are suffering due to their own greed. Now many good players are quitting as they can't get sponsorship help. I'm not sure. Before, I'm not sure they were all getting paid everything. Just because I did see the inner workings of one other company, and it's just there's so many events and so many big stuff now that I think it's hard for. I think players need those multiple sponsorships now.
Well, James, I can also tell you, I've seen some of the inner workings of multiple companies, not just some of the ones that have sponsored me, because I talk to pretty much everybody out there. But a lot of these players are getting paid well from their bag companies and from their sponsorships, but sometimes the ROI isn't there. Like, you're not seeing the huge return on investment based on bag sales and everything else. And there's a lot more that goes into it that I can't talk about here because I'll get in trouble with a three-letter organization. But there's a lot more that happens. So, it's tough where we need some other names to come into the company, to the game, like Nike, Adidas, some of those other big places to really help out, because the bag manufacturers and the board manufacturers need a little help.
It's James. I don't think it's zero because I talked to one other company and they were getting about 10% from some of their guys coming in because people the only way that they can really see is just by using player codes and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so there's that. So this has been a show, a little more. Most shows we tried to be around a half an hour. We went a little over that, but the return to doing stuff. Hopefully, I'll be getting some more stuff out sooner rather than later. We got the third anniversary show coming up to go into year number 4. Like I said, I still can't believe that people are still watching me because I was never sure this was going to last more than 2 weeks, but we're going into year 4. But yeah, so with that, everyone have fun throwing bags. We've got a new season starting up, which means my PPR is 0, and I'm somehow happy about that. Because, honestly, my PPR coming back from Worlds that are at the couple of league nights I went to, I'm throwing like around a 7. I think the osmosis process really worked for me watching people play. So that's, hey, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Maybe I'll do another throwing tips video because I know Keith Kuza really likes my throwing tips video. He was really shocked that I have almost 10,000 views on a throwing tips video for a guy with 5.5 PPR.
Was it what not to do?
No, they're actually really good tips. It's just I don't use them all the time.
Yeah, I can tell people how to throw. I just can't do it.
Yeah. Do as I say, not as I do. That's my motto. So, thanks everyone for sticking around. If you did the whole hour and 14 here, thank you for sticking around, giving us that the algorithm views. But Donnie, thanks for coming on. I know you will be on sooner rather than later. And Bobby, you will be in a day or so. Maybe Bobby, you want to come on a podcast and do that? Maybe think about it, possibly.
Yeah, call me, Bobby.
Yeah. Everyone, have a good night, and like I said, just have fun playing. Make cornhole fun again. That's all. That's all that matters.
All right, be safe, everybody. Love you all.